Maya Vadani Lokaragatan Udriti Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gana Sukham Pradai Prabhum Tambaje Namo Gauri Kishoraya Bhakta Vadutam Murtae Rangri Padma Bringaya Radha Vane Vande Bhakti Vinoram Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupam Bhakti Shastra Samrajam Radharasa Sudanidhim Gaura Vraja Srita Shishaya Vaishnavam Yaviram Jagannatha Prabhum Bande Premabdim Brida Vaishnavam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Pratitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktavyam Namami Bhaktikam Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha Jayatang Suratopang Gaur Mamanda Matirvati Matsarasva Padam Bojo Radha Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpa Jumadha Srimad Ratnagara Sinha Sri Gandharva Srila Govinda Devo Krishnali Bhimaro Smami Shriman Rasa Rasaram Bhivang Shivata Tatashita Karshan Venu Swanai Gopir Gopinatha Shri Estunaha Vrindaya Tulasi Devai Priya Ekilvashra Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi Satyavatya Namo Namaha Atanatva Mantra Gurun Gurun Bhagavatarjan Vyasan Jagat Gurun Natva Tato Jayam Udirayet Jaya Sapadikar Shishi Guru Goranga Gandharva Govinda Sundara Pada Padmanam Jayastu Jaya Sapadikar Shishi Guru Gaura Chandra Giri Raju Pada Padmanam Jayastu Sakala Vaishnava Pade Mora Namaskara Ite Kichu Aparadana Hukamara Hoichin Vagan Prabhu Jatu Bhakta Jan Bandana Kari Ami Savari Charana Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhutale Swami Shri Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupadaya Te Nama Gurvagyam Shri Sridhita Shakti Vesha Swarupine Hare Krishneti Mantrena Paschatya Prachitarne Visvacharya Pavarya Divyakar Murte Sri Bhagavata Madhurya Gita Jnana Pradayane Gaura Sri Rupa Siddhanta Saraswati Nishevine Radha Krishna Padamboja Bringaya Gurve Namaha Shri Vandana Ki Jai Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay. Let's see. I guess we'll just do Shri Guru Charana. It's a 4. Hardy, can you play the mridanga?
Yes.
Okay.
What page?
No, wrong page. I'm thinking of the old book. Whoops. Yeah, thank you. It'll take me 2 months to get used to the new book.
Who wants to play the titles?
Yeah. Nah, I'm not very good with titles. Did you leave it? Guru Charana Pada Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Pannovi Savadhana Mate Krishna Prati Hoya Jana Hoy
Krishna Prabhi Hoya
Guru feet of the spiritual master are the abode of pure devotional service. I bow down to those lotus feet with great care and attention. My dear brother, my dear mind, it is through the grace of the spiritual master that we cross over this material.
Make the teachings from the lotus master one with your heart, as anything else. Attachment to the lotus feet of the spiritual master is the best means of spiritual advancement. By his mercy, all desires called to perfection are fulfilled.
He who has given me the gift of transcendental vision is my Lord, birth after birth. By knowledge is revealed within the heart, bestowing loving devotion and destroying ignorance. The Vedic script
O spiritual master, ocean of mercy and friend of the fallen souls, you are the teacher of everyone and the life of all people. Only merciful and give me the shade of your lotus feet. May your glories now be proclaimed throughout the three worlds.
I have surrendered. I have surrendered unto your fearless love. Here, all through the death. Savior of the fallen, please give me your mercy. You're the Savior of the lowly fallen souls. All glories to you, through death.
I, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, like your Narottam is giving us this is like the entryway into spiritual development, spiritual progress, and like specifics, like we can bow down to the spiritual master, and when we do bow down, try to like dive in our hearts and give respect, because by his connection, by Krishna, there's magical transmission of spiritual knowledge and spiritual experience that comes by the way of the spiritual master. So, each one of us, as we grow in Krishna consciousness, eventually we get initiated by a spiritual master, and after maybe some time we get to hear a second mantra from the spiritual master, and also like progressive growth in Krishna consciousness for all of us. And if we can, like, through our day-to-day life, doing all the stuff that we do, if we can remember to pray to our spiritual master along the way, to give us the vision to nicely live our lives in line with his direction, and to kindly forgive us for any problems we have, any offenses that we make. And our gurus will always do that. We just have to have honest, open hearts when we pray. And when we pray with, as best we can at least, an honest, open heart, then we'll feel reciprocation from our guru. It may be immediate or it may take some time. But things like that, the reciprocal relation of the guru and the disciple is, not something that's just fantasy or mental projection. It's actually a transcendental transmission that comes to us in our hearts. Why? Because Paramatma is in the heart, and the spiritual master is the representative of Paramatma. Even it's said sometimes that the spiritual master lives in our heart alongside Paramatma, giving us experience and realization that enables us to be like enthusiastic and enlivened in our devotional life. It kind of works like sometimes we're put through difficulty. The spiritual master puts us through difficulty to help us, give up our material attachments and grow. And then sometimes he'll put us through some experience of amazing, realization or feeling of spiritual, bliss. It kind of happens like that in tandem. The spiritual master tests us, tries things on us. We go through some difficulty, and then later our spiritual master blesses us, and we get a feeling for what really Krishna consciousness is. So all these glimpses are just like, a controlled like projection or realization given by our spiritual master to help us along in our spiritual life. So, like, not only do we have a relationship with Krishna in the heart, but even more important, we have a relation with our spiritual master in our heart. And, if we can develop that and grow with that, that will situate us nicely in Krishna consciousness. At the lotus feet of our divine gurus who will give us guidance. And, the first thing is to realize that I'm not going to get this knowledge by memorizing it or becoming well-versed in it or anything like that. The spiritual knowledge, we talk about it, we read about it, and we hear about it and try to imbibe it in our hearts. But the real way that the spiritual knowledge is like imbibed in our hearts is by our own like inner sincerity and our own inner desire and practical application of rendering service, trying to make ourselves remember that my position is that of a servant. It's not that of a controller or enjoyer, like we've all been so much in illusion to think for so long. But we can, by the grace and the help of our spiritual master, we can break those bonds. And along the way, he will help us stage by stage. And, after a while, you start to realize that there's a long way to go. It's just like that. It's like, wow, okay, I made it out to I made a football analogy. I don't know if everybody follows football. But anyway, I've made it out of the end zone into the 3-yard line, and I have 97 yards to go. But the path is clear ahead of me. And, I'll just continue on that path with faith that my spiritual master will help me along the way. And, like when you travel, if we travel from here to Denver or something, you go along the road and you see signs, Denver 250 miles, Denver 200, so on like that. We get experiences like that, I'm doing better, I'm approaching. I'm beginning to feel things differently. I'm beginning to see my life differently. And sometimes along the way we can't even see that. But that's why it's really good to every now and then just kind of stop yourself and look back and think, where did I begin? And remember that. And then, take a look at yourself now and understand the difference. Your life is transformed. It's become directed in a whole different way. And it will continue that way, forever. Because in Krishna consciousness, of course, everybody knows, it ever increases through the different rasas and relations that we have. But that's the nature of the spiritual world, ever increasing, ever growing. It's not just like you reach a plane and that's it or something. Like the notion, I go to heaven and I'm there. But no, we keep growing, we keep growing, we keep growing, develop into relationships, and those relationships keep growing and keep growing, keep growing. Sometimes changing, sometimes not. We all know the prospect of the future. We have a prospect of a personal, loving relation with Krishna. That personality who we all like feel in our hearts that we want to find and be with. And we try to find it in the material world, it's okay. But really it's not there. We may get help along the way by other devotees and stuff like that. Establish like heartfelt relationships. But, at the same time, we just have to remember that the connections that we have, the whole point of the connection is to help each other in devotional life. And that's like real relationship. That's the real thing, beyond the relationships of the material world. So, okay, Bhagavad Gita, ki jai. Okay, who's the scholar? Who knows where we are? Is this Is it marked correctly here? No.
I'm not a scholar, but we've actually finished the Bhagavad Gita.
Well, that's where it's right at the end, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. I think, well, yeah, let's read Srila Gurudev's preface on page 5, and then we'll go into Srila Guru Maharaj's introduction.
Okay.
This would be really nice to kind of ground us in a feeling of, how our spiritual masters approach the Bhagavad Gita and what kind of mood they want us to take as we ourselves approach the Bhagavad Gita. So, all glory to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Preface. Publisher's note, first Bengali edition. Appearance date of Lord Krishna, 1961. Wow. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj's Bhagavad Gita actually was in Bengali for, I think since the 40s. But in 1961, the first Bengali edition. Okay, I'm wrong. Anyway, eventually it was that's right. It was translated by my old friend Bhaktivedanta Sagar Maharaj. He actually stayed in a trailer. We lived on the countryside. We have this little trailer, and he stayed in the trailer all day long doing this translation work. And for months and months and months, he was a really focused, devoted personality. And I haven't seen him for a long time, but I still honor him in my heart, particularly when I read Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so unique in its wide publication and extensive circulation, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita appears in various languages, both in India and other countries, along with the commentaries of former great saints as well as modern scholars. The commentaries of the prominent Vaishnava acharyas, such as Sri Ramanuja, Srimad Madhvamuni, and Sridhar Swamipad, are most notable, whilst amongst the proponents of Jnana Marg, or the monistic path, the commentaries of Srimad Shankar Acharya and Sri Madhusudan Saraswati are well known. Everybody know what the monistic path is? Okay, that means it's the impersonal path where it's all one, we're all part of the one, and then people stretch it to say, I'm God. Even though they can't control themselves, they have to run to the bathroom every day, but they're God, pooping or something. Sorry, that was a little too graphic, I guess. Okay. The commentaries of Sri Yutta Bala Gangadhar Tilak and Sri Aurobindo favor the school of Karma Yoga, or the path of action, and are also familiar to modern scholars. Great thinkers of both East and West have ardently sung the glories of Sri Gita, being inspired by the ideals of its teachings. However, the Achintya Beda Beda Siddhanta theology of inconceivable oneness and difference, as revealed by the proponents of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaudiya Acharyas, such as Srila Viswanath Chakravarti and Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan, is concluded by the learned devotees to be the most favorable to exclusive devotion. So, achintya, inconceivable. Beda, oneness. Abeda, difference. Achintya, beda, abeda, siddhanta. And that, like in Sanskrit, when certain combinations of certain words combine very naturally, usually when there's the same vowel at the end and at the beginning of the word, then they combine. So here we have beda abeda, which is oneness and difference. Okay. The devotees also embrace Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bengali commentary of Sri Gita as a harmonious spiritual mind of the treasure of divine love for Sri Krishna, Krishna Prema. The fifth and transcendental goal of life, beyond the four general human objectives of religion, wealth, sense enjoyment, and liberation. Okay. Who knows the Sanskrit? are these? Religion. Dharma, wealth,
Dhamma.
artha,
Oh, yeah, artha.
sense enjoyment,
Economic development, sense enjoyment, karma.
dhamma, liberation,
And that's civil non-peaceful.
Moksha.
moksha, yes, very good. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. In his introduction, my worshipful divine master, Sri Gurupada Padma Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Sri Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, has revealed to the readers glimpses of his own deep devotional realizations.
Alright, could you give us a translation of the name?
Oh, okay. Guru Pada Padma, that means the guru with lotus feet. Om, of course, is always, or very much generally, the opening word when we present transcendental names or transcendental excerpts from transcendental scriptures and stuff like that. Vishnu Pada, he has the, he's at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Paramahansa, he's like, Hansa means swan, and the Vaishnavas, the pure Vaishnavas are seen as, great swans, because they're, oh, what do I forget?
Water and milk.
Oh, right. Tell me.
The swan can draw the milk from the water.
Oh, right, draws the milk from the water, right. I was thinking something about being above the water, but that's something else, because they're not. Okay. Although numerous editions of Sri Gita are presently available, few commentaries can be said to nurture pure devotion. According to the teachings of bona fide divine succession, which has given us the opportunity of service in producing this edition, we shall consider ourselves blessed if the fortunate readers take the all-auspicious essence of this sincere attempt to heart. Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Navali. Yeah, so, the great souls, they have a desire by just naturally, they want to give this. To some extent we develop that gradually. But the examples given when you find something like to eat or something that's very wonderful, you want to give it to your friends, you want to show your friends about it. And so this is like a reflection of our natural inclination to give our friends and others the connection through the spiritual teachings of the spiritual master, and also the Shastra and Smriti. Shastra is the original like Vedic text, like the Gita, and Smriti is commentary given by the great souls. Okay, so intro. Any questions? Okay. Bande Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundaro Shri Guna Giyate Chata Gita Gudharta Gauravam. Bowing down to the holy feet of Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga, and Sri Radha Govinda Sundar, all accompanied by their associates, I sing the glories of the hidden treasure of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srila Srirama's, even translating from Bengali, you can tell he's like a poet. Whatever he writes is poetry, and particularly in Bengali. I can't read Bengali, but I'm told those who read the Bengali can see that. Of course, this particular is Sanskrit. Since Srimad Bhagavad Gita is very familiar to the learned society, an acquaintance of the conceptions of this edition may be given here. We are followers of the school of thought descending from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this edition is based on Sri Gita commentaries of the preeminent, exalted Sri Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, Sri Viswanath, Sri Baladev, and Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. By the grace of our worshipful spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, and from indications in the commentaries given by the aforementioned great pure devotees, in places some new light has been shed, revealing deeper meanings. The devoted reader will appreciate this particular with regards to the 4 verses, 10th chapter 8 through 11, which were described by Srila Viswanath Pada as the 4 essential verses, Chatur Shloki, of the book. Generally, Sri Gita is known as an excellent study of the science of religion. The language of Sri Gita is simple and sweet. Its mood is grave, extensive, and radical. Just see Srila Sri Maharaj's description. Its mood is grave, extensive, and radical. Its thought is succinct, lucid, and impartial. I mean, you know, that's from a position of realization to describe the Gita like that. And its logic is sound and natural. The eloquence of the prologue, epilogue, exposition, review, analysis, synthesis, and delivery of Sri Gita is unprecedented and charming in the extreme. Sri Gita is activation for the lazy, courage for the fearful, hope for the hopeless, and new life for the dying. That is just an amazing sentence. Sri Gita is activation for the lazy, courage for the fearful, hope for the hopeless, and new life for the dying. So, yeah. So everybody, to some extent or other, is a bit lazy. And the Gita gives us like inner inspiration to like engage ourselves in devotional life, to get ourselves moving in our life. And, you know, if we're afraid of, you know, the terrors of material life, ultimately death, the Sri Gita will give us courage, because the exposition and elucidation of Gita, you know, given by our gurus, gives us, you know, inner feeling and realization. We begin to sense that I'm the soul. I don't have to die. I'm just going through this particular body, and, you know, when Krishna wants me to leave, I'll leave, and he'll put me in another body somewhere else. You know, and we're told by our gurus that our only prayer is just let me be placed in a situation where I can engage in devotional service again. You know, it doesn't matter, up or down, whatever. You know, and for us, it's like the heavenly planets, no, that's too much of a distraction. The hellish planets, no, that's a bit too much pain. But we'll take the middle planets. So, like this, like we're on now. So we can just continue our journey in a conducive environment. Okay. Sri Gita unifies and sustains all ranks, whether revolutionary, occultist, optimist, renunciationist, liberationist, or full-fledged theist. And we've seen this in India. You know, the revolutionaries, when they were revolting against the British, they cited Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita was like the foundational text. And, you know, Bhagavad Gita for them represented, you know, all that India is in its greatest glory, actually. The realization and understanding that's contained in the Bhagavad Gita and indicated in so many scriptures is, you know, it is the highest indication of the position of the Supreme Absolute. Everywhere else it's hazy. God is, you know, up there somewhere. He's there, but we don't really know anything about him. But, you know, the Gita and the scriptures from India give us indication, like, who is God? What does he do? And it just becomes a natural thing to become attached to him, because we know about him, we hear about him. It's just, you know, the door is open to come to know him by the grace of these, great devotees who have given us these scriptures and their, concomitant realizations in their purports and commentary. Where are we? Okay. Devotees of the Lord, Bhagavad Bhaktas, and persons on the paths of action, knowledge and yoga, karmis, gyanis, and yogis, will each find the essence of their paths dealt with in a comprehensive and illuminating manner, and thus the book is highly esteemed by all. So, there's so many people who use the Bhagavad Gita to go on different paths of development. And I always thought, and Prabhupada told us also, all throughout the Gita, at the end of every chapter, Krishna says, I am the personality of Godhead, worship me. And then someone says, oh, I'm going to be a yogi, I'm going to be a karma yogi. They don't understand that Krishna is not just giving us some indirect method of developing our spiritual consciousness. He's directly telling us, I am the personality of Godhead. Surrender to me. And the whole Gita gives us so much indication and direction as to how to surrender to him. And, these directions of Krishna, again, are so illuminated by our gurus who, either they've descended and perfectly well clear can see the path of freedom, the development of bhakti yoga, or have, developed themselves and come to the stage of perfection. We never know, though generally the disciple, thinks that his guru has descended, which is, really also true, because everything that comes out of the mouth of the guru is based on knowledge that has, come down. Okay. From the standpoint of Sambandha Jnana, or knowledge of relationship, Sri Gita gives us the conception that the absolute reality is a transcendental personality. From the standpoint of prayojana, or the objective, spiritual love for the absolute reality is given as the highest attainment. And from the standpoint of abhideya, or the means, we are taught that one must initially offer all his actions to the Supreme Lord, followed by the cultivation of self-realization, favorable to realization of the Lord, and finally surrender to the Lord, to the exclusion of all other endeavors.
That's interesting that you're worded like that, usually, because we know surrender is beginning, the first and the end.
Yeah.
Usually we usually approach it with, it's the first thing. This is also saying, finally, at the end, you will exclusively surrender,
right.
With no more mixing.
Yes, because, when you open up the book Bhagavad Gita, its understanding is so much dependent on your approach to Bhagavad Gita. Am I approaching this to accumulate knowledge for me so that I can sound in this way or that way, or am I'm turning to the Bhagavad Gita and the teachings given by our gurus to grow in spiritual life and develop in spiritual life, and that's like the submissive surrendered entry. And then of course the whole Bhagavad Gita teaches us and gives us indication how we can surrender more and more, and ultimately come into the stage of pure surrender to Krishna, which is what Krishna wants of us. And to gradually understand that through the pages of the Bhagavad Gita, as we read it and learn about what's in the Bhagavad Gita, the amazing thing I found is that every time I read something, even though it may be the 20th time I've read it or more, there's something new there. There's something unique there. It's almost always like that. It's not like, oh, this is boring, I've read it before, like it would be with a mundane text or something. It's not like that. It's like everything is like the potential for realization is just like jumping out at us. Okay. Sri Gita has clearly shown the distinction distinctions between the various paths, such as the path of action, including worship of the gods for worldly fulfillment, and the path of knowledge for the attainment of liberation. The thoughtful reader can note that Sri Gita, by its comparative study, refutes the misconception that many paths and goals are all one. Rather, it is stated, Yo yat shraddha sa eva saha. A man is known by his faith. These verses would warrant deep consideration in this respect. Quote, the yogi is superior to the persons engaged in austerities, superior to the person of knowledge, and superior to the person of action. Therefore, O Arjuna, be a yogi, and best of all yogis is my faithful devotee, for whom I am the only goal, and who serves me wholeheartedly. This is my opinion. Chapter 6, verses 46, 47. Showing the inferiority and meaninglessness of dry renunciation, the gift of Sri Gita is the most substantial and positive. Is it getting too hot? Should we close like that side of the window or something? Is that okay? Does everybody like the sun? Okay, well, nobody's saying anything. Yeah. Okay. Okay, showing the inferiority and meaninglessness of dry renunciation, the gift of Sri Gita is most substantial and positive. Rather than merely renouncing action, one should selflessly offer one's actions to the Supreme Lord, Karma Yoga. Ultimately, based on one's surrender, one will be inspired to act in devotion for the Lord alone. So it's like, even we can see that when new people come in, they're taught to bow down. They're taught about hearing. They're taught all the different like entry points to Krishna consciousness. And based on that, entry level development, they naturally grow in their devotional life. So it said, I remember Srila Prabhupada told us that once you gain some realization, even once you hear the Hare Krishna mantra, in your next life you'll come back to take off from that point. So imagine, the more that we can hear Bhagavad Gita, the more that we can seriously try to take it to heart, wherever we are in terms of our karmic activities or all that stuff from previous lives, we'll be guided in the next life, for sure. This is the only positive accumulation that we can take with us beyond the death of this body and, leaving to another plane of existence. Krishna tells us, our gurus tell us, that these things will go with us and we'll be in a exact position to, start off where we left off. So maybe some of us have been able to see that you've walked in at a certain stage of Krishna consciousness when you just joined, and what you're hearing just resonates with your particular feelings of what devotion and dedication is. So it's like that. I mean, I always think when I joined Krishna consciousness, we were just barely scratching the surface, and now we're reading Srila Sridhar Maharaj's Bhagavad Gita. I mean, when I joined, there was no, maybe the Bhagavad Gita had just come out. Maybe after a month or so it came out. But anyway, we had no scriptures. We only had the Hare Krishna mantra and the senior devotees to follow. But now, there's so much. There's Prabhupada's Gita, and there's Srila Sridhar Maharaj's Gita, which is the logical, pure enhancement of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. It's like the spiritually developed path towards increasing experience of Krishna consciousness. You know, it's just like that. That's why Srila Prabhupada sent us to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Because he knew that he could give us, he could see each one of us and understand where we are at and help us along to grow and develop more in Krishna consciousness. And even though, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is gone, Srila Govinda Maharaj is gone, they're still accessible. In the physical form, in our current consciousness, it's much more easy to relate and understand and feel the presence of the Vaishnava. But nonetheless, we have the entryway that they have provided. And really all we have to do is with determination, turn to them. And they will always help us. Showing did I read this? The inferiority and meaninglessness of dry renunciation, the gift of Sri Gita is most substantial and positive. Rather than merely renouncing action, one should selflessly offer one's actions to the Supreme Lord, Karma Yoga. Ultimately, based on one's surrender, one will be inspired to act in devotion, bhakti, for the Lord alone. This is the conclusive and sublime teaching of Sri Gita. In the finest conception, the overall excellence of Sri Gita is found in its gift of devotion. In its full manifestation, such devotion is prema bhakti, loving devotion, to the all-attractive Supreme Personality, Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful. Secret, more secret, and most secret of all teachings have been given as the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord, Sankirtan, and service in spontaneity, Bhava Seva, with exclusive surrender and dedication to the transcendental pleasure of Krishna as the ultimate goal of life, as sung by the vibrant clarion call of Sri Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya ekam sharanam braja. And as deeply contemplated by the followers of the lotus footsteps of the Supreme Lord, who mercifully appears as the savior of the age of Kali, Chaitanya Chandra, and as corroborated by the divine succession of saintly teachers. May Lord Sri Krishna accept the offering of this edition. Swami B.R. Sridhar, Chaitanya Saraswat Math, Navadip, Janmashtami, Bengali year 1368. I have no idea what. Do you know anything about the years, the Bengali years? Okay. Anyway, I guess 1961 or something, right? Okay, who knows? Okay, so anybody? Yes.
Should I ask ChatGPT?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you should. That would be helpful.
No.
I'm wondering what
I
the
use it,
first
I-
year, like what
I
the event
formed it into a
was
living
to start the Bengali calendar?
No, I'm just wondering, exactly what 1368 of the Bengali calendar is. I'm sure it'll come on 1961, but who knows?
Oh, I see.
I think Bengali was like a city or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Corresponds to the Gregorian years 1961 to 1962.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I forget how it goes. It's like,
It started in April
April.
1961 and ended April 1962.
okay. Starting at the beginning both times, ending at the beginning of April, starting at the beginning of April, right? Oh, cool. Okay, any questions, anybody?
Yeah, because technically April is the new year, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the astrology.
April Fools is actually the first day of spring.
I thought it was or
It's
yeah.
like March 21st.
Oh yeah, it's actually March 20th because Aries season, right? Isn't
This
that?
is also true to consider.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how the
Equinox.
the Vedic view and all that kind of meshes with the kind of Western view. I really never got into that. So, questions, comments? realizations, experience. Okay, Purush.
Oh, I'm trying to dig. Well, I'll just say this. I think it's interesting. Guru Maharaj here goes in the same sequence when he's describing on page 8. It starts at the bottom. It says, describing Sambandha Gyan, Avideya, and Prayojan.
Mhm.
Typically, we hear it in that order, Sambandha,
Mhm.
Avideya, Prayojan. But when you actually try to explain it to somebody, it always goes Sambandha, then Prayojan, then
Yeah.
Avideya.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada does the same thing in his intro to
Oh,
the
really?
Gita. And it's very helpful. These three things are very, they're, as we know, they're so foundational to
Yeah.
understanding Krishna conscious philosophy and practice and everything. So, like you gotta basically, Sambandha Gyan is like give an overview of like reality, the map,
Hmm.
and then you point on the map and you say, like this is where we are, but this is where we're trying to go.
Mhm.
Right? And then you say, okay, this is how we're going to do it.
This is the way.
These are these three things, Sambandha, Prayojan, and then Avideya.
Mm. The objective. Just thinking of something. I lost track of my thoughts, sorry. Let's see.
I can say one more thing more about
Yeah.
this thing.
Good, good.
Okay. Because we're so fortunate, our greatest wealth is that we have these three like full moon devotees, pure devotees, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. So again, like a source of unlimited meditation is understanding, for me anyway, maybe you feel something similar, is like Prabhupada came first, Guru Maharaj pretty much came second,
Yep.
for many devotees like
Yeah,
yourself. And then finally, Srila Govinda Maharaj
Yep.
was there. And so to try to understand the three of them together, I like to look at them in this way also. Prabhupada gives us the basic understanding first, and it's all the same substance, but it's coming in phases,
Yep,
you know, and so to try to understand all three together.
right. It's actually true. That's exactly how I experienced it, you know, in my thinking. That Prabhupada has given us like the foundation, and then, you know, based on that foundation, he refers us to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who expands on that and gives us a more deeper understanding of, you know, what is the goal and what is the means. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj himself, in his dedication to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, directly and practically shows us, you know, how to engage in a life of devotion. You know, just given to us directly and practically. And the accessibility to that, you know, like I've said, it's not limited to having experienced it directly, but rather these are transcendental personalities. And you know, we all have access to them. We just have to learn and teach ourselves and work on it in prayer and, you know, attempting to dedicate ourselves through the, you know, for us, through the agency of the temple and the service that's available to us in the temple. Whether it's, you know, speaking or cleaning or cooking or worshiping the deity, all these things are like opportunities for us to grow. That's why the temple's here. You know, to give, you know, everyone, you know, all of us included, the opportunity to utilize our consciousness at the, you know, at the particular level that we're at right now, and to engage practically, physically, mentally, intellectually, in spiritual life, and grow in that way. And, you know, the amazing thing is that with our Guru's guidance, what comes to us will be like specifically tailored for us. You know, the way this Bhagavad Gita hits me is different than you or you or you. It's all hitting us in different ways according to our own nature and degree of surrender and connection with our teachers. You know, these things are like mixing in our consciousness in such a way as to enable us to perceive the reality that's there in the scriptures, and to begin to like feel and kind of sense the personalities who are transmitting this to us. We can read like short descriptions of the lives of these great souls. When you go to India, you can go to the house of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in, trying to remember where it was. Maybe was Kolkata?
Oh.
No, I'm thinking about the, must be Navadvip. Because he was in Godrum, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was there. And then also there was another house that I went to. I can't remember where it was, I don't know if he ever went to Calcutta or not. But anyway, these places are there. The places of Srila Prabhupada, the places of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, the Govinda Kunda, the place where Srila Govinda Maharaj used to go and circumambulate it, first on foot and later on his scooter. And I always remember one time when I came to see him, maybe like, I don't know, 2009 or 8 or something, I came to the front gate and Srila Govinda Maharaj was just kind of pulling up on his scooter. And I bowed down and he stops and he looks right at me and says, "I may not be here next year." And I was like, what am I supposed to do? And like a week later, I asked him for sannyas. Because I felt like I have to get, a tangible connection with him. I have to render tangible service to him while he's still here. And he was very kind. Did I tell you guys a story? At first he says to me, "Oh, you have very nice marriage. There's no need for you to take sannyas." And I said, "Srila Gurudev, I think it's really necessary for my service." He says, "Okay, I'm thinking." And I figure, oh boy, I'm going to go off and wait, and he's going to say sorry. So I'm sitting up there taking prasadam in the prasadam room, which is a ways up from where Srila Govinda Maharaj used to sit in his quarters. And anyway, I'm sitting there taking prasadam, and this one of the servants of Srila Govinda Maharaj comes in and says, "Sri Govinda Prabhu." "Yes, Maharaj." He says, what size is your kurta?" And I'm thinking, what? Kurta? I said, "Maharaj, I'll just give you a kurta and you can check it out. Do you need something? Are you thinking it's I can buy you a kurta and stuff." He says, No. This is for your cloth for sannyas." And I was like, uh-oh.
Govinda Maharaj had left the room, or he was...
No, he was in the room. I was upstairs taking prasadam in another building. And like immediately went down and bowed down to Srila Govinda Maharaj. And he just kind of like, his eyes got really big and said, "Yes." He used to do that. He'd just, like look at you and right through you and go, "Yes, that's how it is." So anyway, it happened like that, and somehow or other, I stumbled into sannyas. And
What year was this?
2006. My gosh, almost 20 years. Holy smokes.
So Govinda Maharaj ended up being on the planet for 4 more years then.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Like 2010, right? Right. Yeah. So, anyway. Okay. What time is it? Anybody else have something to say? Comments? Sri Gita, what is Sri Gita saying to you? Anyway, we'll get into reading the actual Gita itself next week, starting from the beginning. That's really great to start from the beginning and enter into the Gita in the way in which Krishna intends us to enter into. Sometimes it's fun to go into the Gita in later chapters, check out various important verses, sometimes try and memorize them so we can use them for our preaching, or at least read through them and understand the meaning of the verses so that when people ask us about Krishna consciousness, we can give them something substantial. Like that's the main reason why we have these classes, because it's the opportunity given to us by our gurus to imbibe these things in our hearts, and then to follow their direction and give this experience and realization to others. That's the life of the real Vaishnava guru. His life is to give Krishna consciousness to others, because he's been directed to do that by his guru, and simultaneously he's living in a world, a consciousness that is exactly in line with that instruction. He feels it, he knows it. And just hearing that and understanding a little bit about it, we can see what kind of amazing prospect we have for our future lives as we work on developing and growing in Krishna consciousness. And we come to the temple and we help each other, we work together, we take prasadam, we read the scriptures, we talk about Krishna consciousness together. We join together and help each other. And simultaneously we have a personal opportunity and what's the word? Almost obligation to take this teaching and incorporate it, try to remember to incorporate it into our daily lives. Even if it's just saying a prayer in the morning when you wake up, trying to remember Krishna throughout the day. Whenever you have foodstuffs, offer them in one way or the other. Srila Prabhupada told us if you have foodstuffs that come from, being cooked by non-devotees, then you just say Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. And then offer them that way. Otherwise you can, if you have something you've cooked yourself, then offer it to our beloved gurus. And they will, bless us through that prasadam, which is what we're going to be taking in a short time. It's like a direct spiritual blessing that comes from them reaching out to us through the prasadam. And the amazing thing is, prasadam is really nice. It's really good and it really tastes good. And, we can just enjoy in Krishna consciousness the reality of the beautiful reciprocation that we're receiving here from Sriman Mahaprabhu, directly, in the form of the foodstuffs that have been prepared and offered with love, and then which he is imbued with his reciprocal love and comes back to us in the form of prasadam. It's good to now before we take, to say our advancement in Krishna consciousness.
True.
Yeah, what can I say? It is true. And it's impossible for us to really know how that works. Just that it's imbued with the mercy of our gurus, and it goes into us and it hits us in a certain way. We may not perceive it, but every bit of prasadam we take, there's some growth that will appear. Maybe not now, maybe only later, but contacting prasadam, honoring prasadam, bowing down before the deity, chanting our rounds, Hare Krishna mantra, all these things, it's all cumulative, and it's never lost. Prabhupada used to tell us it's an eternal bank account.
Eternal bank account, your prasadam quotient?
Prasadam and chanting development that comes from temples and chanting Hare Krishna and like that. It is a bank account that is established in the heart, and you know, you carry on to your next life, as we were talking about. You know, so we've walked into this amazing opportunity, and you know, classes are for us to help us just kind of remember what kind of amazing fortune we've somehow stumbled into. Yeah, I mean, like I stumbled in 1969, and I'm still stumbling, but I'm trying. You know.
Like Madhusudana Maharaj was saying not long ago, it's a long path.
Yeah, and you know, at first it may be, oh wow, it's so long, it's so long, it's so long. But after a while you realize, well, this is kind of nice. I can deal with that if it's a long path. Because it keeps getting better bit by bit. I keep feeling and realizing that there's something more beyond my initial perception of things that's being shown to me along the way. That I'm being like, you know, like here Mahaprabhu is like coming off the altar and hugging us. Something like that. That's a good meditation, I think. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's too much.
Which in particular?
Mahaprabhu coming off the altar and hugging us. Oh well.
Okay, Mara, should we end with Hari Raya?
Yeah. Why don't you lead Prabhu?
Okay, Kartals.
You want to play the Katazidi?
It's page 66, I think, right? New songbook. Kirtan guide.
This is 66?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
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 Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Srimad Husuran Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Radha Srivasa Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sarupa Sanatan Pataraguna Shiva Gopal Bhakta Dasaguna Ishara Gosai Puri Charana Vandan Jaha Hoite Vidanash Abhishapurana Jai Gosai Garvani Tardas Kamsamara Padarindu Mora Jagas Adanyara Charana Sevi Bhakta Sandeva Janame Janame Mora Hey Sripad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Vari Astatara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Vari Astatara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Vari Astatara Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hari Nama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Jai Dev.
Nyasi Maharaj.
Oh, perfect. What are we going to do? Is it warm enough to take outside?
I think so.
It might be. It's dry also.
Nice.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Grace?
Hare.
Good, nice to see you.
Hare Rama.
It's so nice to see you, Grace. It's been a little while. How are you?
Yes, I'm good.
I love your dress, by the way. Oh, thank you so much. Christopher, nice to meet you. My name is Madhurima.
Oh, could somebody collect the Gitas and put them away?
Yes, I do.
This your friend? Nice. Mahaprabhu was 7'4", Maharaj? How tall was Mahaprabhu?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, in Ekta Chakra, we have life-size deities. So the deity is like 7'2" or something like that. So it's like, whoa, you're going right. I remember when they first installed, the devotee who was in charge there brought us behind to see the deity, and they're not only 7 feet tall, but they're up on an altar too. So it's like, whoa. Really, it was really amazing to see. I mean, when you're in India, it's like, it's a different atmosphere. So the way in which we perceive things like deities and stuff it's different. We're just like more open to perception, something like that. Because India, there's been thousands of years of spiritual life. And that, even today, when there's so much modernity taken over, it's still different. It's still, especially you go to the holy places in India, it's like, wow. So, yeah, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years you'll be there.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I'd love to go.